Welcome and congratulations to all the subscribers who made it into the draft class for the first off-season draft. If you don't see your guy here, there's always next year, as I couldn't possibly put everyone into one class, and if I did, quite a few of you would be bad players or out of the league in just a few years. Carson Sanders is projected first overall out of Cal State East Bay in the Draft Express mock draft, while the Kings are projected to take center Rigoberto Ramirez Jr. out of Southern Utah with the 5th pick. Rambo Strokes at pick 48 in the second round to the Grizzlies is the last projected sub off the board. It will be exciting to see where everyone actually lands. But first, we have to get through these playoffs. Simulating the play-in, we see that the Warriors take down the Suns and the Nuggets take down the Thunder. Then the Nuggets beat the Suns to take that 8th seed and face the Pels. In the East, the Nets beat the Heat and the Bucks beat the Pacers, and then the Heat beat the Bucks to take the 8th seed and face the top-seeded Cavs. After round 1, the Lakers beat the Mavs in 7. The Grizz upset the Clippers, while the Pels and the Wolves take care of business. And in the East, the Heat upset the top-seeded Cavs in 6 games, while the other 3 top seeds advance. For the conference semis, where the Lakers knock off the Pelicans and the Grizz knock off the Wolves. The East sees the better 2 seeds advance, and the Bulls and the Celtics. It appears the Grizzlies have made the finals, with Ja Morant winning Western Conference Finals MVP in a 7-game series. And in the East, the honor is Zach LaVine's as the Bulls sweep the Celtics. Bulls then sweep the NBA Finals over the Grizzlies as DeMar DeRozan is your Finals MVP, averaging nearly 37 a game and shooting 53% from the floor and 38.5% from 3. After the season, Udonis Haslem, Dwight Howard, Kyle Lowry, Thaddeus Young, Lou Williams, Taj Gibson, Blake Griffin, and more retire from the league. The only Hall of Famer is Dwight Howard, and deservedly so, averaging a double-double throughout his 1,200-game career. Kyle Lowry has number 7 retired in Toronto, Dwight Howard has number 12 retired in Orlando, and Blake Griffin gets his number 32 jersey retired for the LA Clippers. Time for the NBA Draft Lottery, and the Kings got a 10.5% chance of obtaining the top pick. Everything went as predicted for the most part from 14 to 5, but the Magic drew the 5th pick instead of our Kings, and things were looking good. But even though it looked good for the first overall pick, when it was time to draw for number 2, the Kings were drawn instead of the Spurs. But hey, number 2 isn't bad at all. With that, the top 5 picks would belong to the Spurs, Kings, Jazz, Rockets, and Magic in that order. The Kings also hold pick number 22. Our assistant GM Connor Green was a snake, so we fired him and hired a bunch of new staff for the squad with a new assistant GM, CFO, team doctor, and head scout. I like Malik Monk, I really do, but him and Brzezikis for 2 unprotected first-round picks next season, I have to take that deal. Next, we want to get someone in free agency. That was the goal at the start of the series, so Rashawn Holmes, before he accepts his player option, which would be nearly over $12 million, we're going to unload him with a 2026 second for a young Isaiah Todd, who has a team option for just under $2 million, and will take on the 25th pick in the second round of this draft. Big savings in this trade. Then, I think Terrence Davis kind of pulled off the Kevin Huerter 3-point specialist role than Huerter himself did, and for cheaper. So, to unload that salary, we sent him to the Garden with 4 second-round picks for the 11th pick in the draft and a 2025 lottery-protected first from the Knicks. With that, it's draft time. Carson Sanders does go first overall, but it's not the Jazz but the Spurs who end up landing him. Without Huerter on the roster, the pick for the Kings was Harry Klinkstein, who would have to move to 2-guard later as the top 3-point shooter in the nation. The Jazz then selected Rigoberto Ramirez Jr., the center from Southern Utah, who grew up a Jazz fan and was the top rebounder in the country. UMKC forward Derek Watson was next off the board to the Houston Rockets. The Magic selected point guard Quentin Portis from South Carolina at number 5. Center Roger Roberson from Australia was next by the Pistons. 2 centers back-to-back with Axel Duncan going to the Blazers out of Coastal Carolina. Point guard Khalil Davison of South Alabama was then taken at number 8 by the Wizards. Number 9 was then sent to the Jazz with Lauri Markkanen, the main piece headed to Charlotte. And with that pick, the Jazz went with point guard Julian Escobar to join Rigo. The first Autogen player goes at number 10 to the OKC Thunder and Arthur Stevens. And our Kings were up once again with the pick from the Knicks, and the center or power forward was something that we wanted to address. Jamal DeAngelo was the selection, and the scouts say he's a well-rounded 5. Skylar Smith is off the board at 12 to the Pacers, and then with the second Rockets selection, they take center Vachin Padali out of Tennessee. Suns take Garrett Adams before the Thunder then take another auto-gen player in small forward Dirk Klein. After that, the Nets trade their entire draft to the Hornets for Terry Rozier. And Jared Seibel becomes the pick for the Hornets at that point. And with their third first-round pick, the Thunder then finally take a subscriber in Victor Lowell of Michigan State. Warriors get my favorite auto-gen player in Ulf Norberg out of Sweden. And the Raptors trade their first to Charlotte for Evan Fournier and a second. I puked a little bit. Hornets very active, and they will take Christopher Heigem from Denmark. Autogen center Devin Rice to the Pelicans, another Autogen center Chester Robertson to the Grizz, and it's Kings time again. Before the pick, the Kings then traded away a pick swap between the Pels and the Bucks in 2026, along with a Hornets 2027 second rounder for a fourth first rounder in this draft, and a couple of second round picks from the Cavs and Spurs. Kamani Cooper then gets selected with that 22nd pick to the Sacramento Kings. The Clippers take an auto-gen point guard, Owen Wellington. So with the new first-round pick obtained, their fourth of the draft, the Kings took power forward Timon Surreal out of Florida State. The Kings had no more selections, and the rest of the draft was as follows, with subscribers Cable Reichart to Indiana, Cole Fleming to Toronto, Zach Paxton to Orlando, Laban Baker to Boston, Jordan Mount to New Orleans, Scotty Frouts to Detroit, Ricky Holmes to OKC, Rambo Strokes to Minnesota, and Michael Kalega being the last subscriber picked by the Phoenix Suns. We're going to certainly see who ends up becoming household names around the league. Watch to the end of the video if you want to see how to submit your players for next year's draft class. Of course, we will sign all four of our first-round picks, all sub-players. Welcome to the squad, gents. Davion Mitchell is the only option we're going to accept. The other guys can go shove it. Harden, Middleton, and Porzingis all decline player options to hit free agency. So far, the Kings look like this, with Fox and Mitchell at the point, Klinkstein and Cooper as two guards, Murray and Todd as the threes, Sabonis and Surreal as the fours, and D'Angelo as our only center at the moment. That's definitely subject to change based on if we made a splash move somewhere else in free agency. And first, it'd be an offer to top target RJ Barrett. Then a rather lowball offer to Kyrie Irving, basically the max we could afford to give him. And finally, Chris Middleton got a decent but not a max offer from us. Barrett and Middleton both accepted, but we could only bring in one, so we chose our top target, RJ Barrett, and the Knicks matched his offer sheet to keep him. So back to the drawing board it was, as we offered Middleton just a touch more than we did last time. We offered Miles Turner a contract that he pretty much declined immediately, but it didn't matter because Chris Middleton accepted again, and he would be the newest Sacramento King. The next target, Aiden Dermanenko, was offered a reasonable deal to play center at 7'2", and he later accepted. We also brought in point guard Jared Butler and a third center in Allen Randolph. Progression, Davion Mitchell was on the rise, as was Keegan Murray, and they played well last year. You want to be in the next draft class? Go to the comments section. Give me a name, a position, a college or country, not both. You'll either be a college player or an international player, and a jersey number. Submit it all properly to be considered. Some left out info last time and were automatically not entered. We have a lot of people submitting, so be sure to do it right for a chance to get in. Fox, Klinkstein, Middleton, Sabonis, and Dermanenko looks to be the initial starting five this season, with Mitchell, Murray, and D'Angelo getting serious looks off the bench. But we may move things around as the season progresses. It's a very young team with a lot of potential, and they will get to take on LeBron James on the road to start the season. Yay. Season 2 opener in LA against LeBron, AD, and Klay Thompson? How the heck did the Lakers make that happen? Well, they have former Kings third point guard Emmanuel Barea starting their point. That might explain it. Kings down 4 early when Fox drives in and hits a stop and pop for the Kings' first points. LeBron on the other end drives in, takes contact, gets the bucket and the foul. Fox drives in and kicks it to Dermanenko for the mid-ranger danger. Nice jump shot. Barea can't guard Fox as he goes right around him to the rack with the slam. Later in transition, Keegan Murray to Jared Butler, who knocks down his first three with the team. But that gets matched the other way with Roy hitting a triple for LA. Pat Beverly hits a three for the Lakers, and the last play of the quarter, it's AD on the drive. Lakers by 5 into the break. Second quarter, Klinkstein runs the pick and roll with Sabonis for a beaut of a bucket. And then Dermonenko with another nice mid-range shot. Kings led. Chris Middleton finally hits a shot and extends the lead. And then Fox again with another stop and pop. Good for 2 more. Fox finds space for 3 to get an 11-point lead. That double-digit lead was short-lived with Roy off of a pick for a triple of his own. It was a 7-point game at halftime. Braun knocks a 3-ball down on a feed from Anthony Davis, and then Davis driving on Sabonis, big man on big man, and oh, that's disrespectful. Later, a nice dish to Beverly as he hits a 3, and then Reeves coming up with one from beyond the arc, 4-point game. Roy with the feed to Beverly for 3, and we had a 2-point game going into the final quarter. Anthony Davis finds a way early on, and the game is tied as he had 26 to that point. He continued destroying Sabonis down low. Klinkstein drops one from beyond the arc, and the Kings had a small lead. That was when Klay Thompson checked in the game and hit 2 huge 3-pointers to get the Lakers within 1 point. And then with a 1-point lead later, he nailed another one to extend it to 4 with 5 minutes remaining. Kings needed a spark, and the behind-the-back pass to Dermonenko for a 3 got them back in it. But with under 2 minutes to play, it's Klay for the tray and the dagger. The Lakers go on to win 96-86 in the season opener. AD smoked us for 36 points, 12 boards. LeBron added 24 and 10. Fox dropped 34 with low assist numbers, and Klinkstein added 10 points as the second option. A trip to Phoenix would yield our first dub of the season with a 121-103 win over the Suns. Fox dropped 24 with 8 dishes, and Sabonis had 15 points, 10 boards. For the Suns, Booker dropped 30, and CP3 had 15 with 9 dishes. However, after the game, Jared Butler was diagnosed with right knee tendonitis, and he'd be out at least a month. Kings home opener hosting the Warriors, both teams at 1-1. Different Warriors team than maybe we're used to, but the key is the same. Veteran Curry versus a young Fox. Who prevails? First quarter we go. It's a nice feed down low to Steph Curry. He gets the inside bucket. James Wiseman then cleans up the boards later on with a nice putback dunk, and later it's Jordan Poole all alone for 3. Easy money. Later, Wiseman kicks back, and it's Poole again. No one on him, just too easy. Kings down heading into the second quarter, but coming back a bit until Andrew Wiggins knocks one down from downtown. The Warriors by 9 at that point. Kings need the perimeter game, and they get one here with a nice pass to Klinkstein. But just when the Kings were doing okay, Wiseman, the kick to the chef, cooking up threes. Later, he does it again with an insane step-back off-balance shot for 3. In the third quarter, Poole does it again to the Kings with a 3 to get the game to double digits again. In the fourth quarter, it's Chris Middleton high off the glass to get it back into single digits, but again, the chef says, "Get the heck out of my kitchen, boy," with a big boy 3. A 13-point lead for the Warriors that they would just not relinquish as Andrew Wiggins hits, and a 103-91 win for Golden State behind Curry's 31. Helped by Kuminga's 22 points, 12 boards. For the Kings, it was Fox with 32 and Sabonis with 14 points, 15 rebounds in the loss. Kings then win in Minnesota 109-93 over the Timberwolves behind Chris Middleton's 21-point night. Finally, some money's worth from him. Sabonis added 17 and 15. Anthony Edwards had 26 for Minnesota, and Rudy Gobert added 25 with 10 boards. The Thunder are the top seed in the West at 5-0, while our Kings are clinging to the 7th seed right now at 2-2. Surprisingly, the Mavs are winless, as are the Suns. In the East, the Sixers and the Hornets are undefeated, while the Wizards and the defending champs, the Bulls, are winless. Power rankings currently have our Kings in the 19th spot. How good do you think this Kings team can be? I'm frankly slightly disappointed. What about you? Thank you so much for your support on this series, and thank you channel members for keeping the dream alive, especially franchise QBs T-Clink24, Christian Horn, Rigoberto Ramirez, Colby Gaynor, Troy Gordon, and also our only general manager, Matthew Hackett. I love you all.